Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video today, I'll be showing you how to easily transform your low waist jean into a high waist jean. A very neat and easy way. If it's something you would love to see or you're interested in, you need to keep watching this video. To achieve this transformation, you need to have your scissors, your chalk and your tape. Let us start without wasting any time. But before we start this video, please take few seconds of your time, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It will really mean a lot to me. Let's get into this video. The first thing you want to do is get a jean, a high waist jean. If you already have one, it will make it easier. You just use your tape to measure it up to know exactly what you want. If you have exactly what you want, if you don't have, it's not a problem. You can just use your tape to measure on your body what you want, so you know the extent to which you will cut this low waist jean into a high waist jean. So I measured both jeans and the low waist jean gave me 8.5 inches while the high waist was 9.5 inches. So I just needed to add 1 inch to this, but I wanted my own longer because I had excess. And this jean was longer than my normal height, so I had excess to give out. And there's something very important you need to note when you are changing your low waist jean into a high waist jean. The amount or the number of inches you take out of this jean to make it a high waist is the number of inches you will lose at the bottom of the trouser. That it becomes shorter by that inch. If you take out 3 inches to make it a high waist jean, you would lose 3 inches from the full height of the jean. So put that into consideration when you are turning your jean into a high waist jean. What I just did was mark out the point I wanted. I did about 2 inches because I had excess on that. And then next thing you do after marking out the point is to make a curve, like a C curve. Yes, a C curve. Make sure it's curved. It shouldn't just be straight, so you won't have struggles wearing your jean. So I made a C curve. My own is not so perfect, but you should try to make your own perfect. Just do it on both sides. C curve on both sides. You can draw it straight coming from up, but once you get to the bottom part of the jean, you just take it in like a C curve. You know, when you're cutting your crotch part, you know how you cut it. So that is it. After that, you just cut it out. When cutting, you cut out the front crotch first before the back crotch, because obviously your front crotch is not supposed to be the same with your back crotch when you are cutting out a trouser pattern. After cutting out the front crotch, the next thing you want to do is cut out the back crotch. So when you turn your jeans over, make sure it's well seated, make sure it's very arranged, so you not have mistake when you are cutting it and it will cause the jean to look somehow. So what I just did was to use my tape to mark it out, to mark out the 2 inches. The 2 inches we marked out at the front at the beginning of this tutorial. So I marked it out, and then from that point I made a C curve. The same thing, the exact same thing you do at the front of the jean is the exact same thing you do at the back. You don't just cut it together so the jean will not be too tight. So what I just did is to, from this point where where I am marking right now, I just did a C curve down and did it for the two parts. Easy peasy. Like, this is like the easiest hack you can do. Anybody can do it, because even if you're not a tailor, you can do this if you can handle a machine. Before cutting out the back crotch, what you want to do is open the seam of this jean fully. If you have a jean, you notice that the seam is not usually a single seam, it's about stitch about 3 times. So open it fully before you cut it. So when you're cutting it out, you're cutting it into a straight seam and not that double folded seam you have at the back and front of a jean. So using your blade to open it fully, this is what it will look like if you can see closely. Then next thing I did was to just cut it out. So I would explain why I'm doing this. The reason why I'm doing this is to make it neat, because after stitching up the jean, you don't want to have like this double stitch coming from the top of the jean, and then when it gets to where you join it, it just become a single seam. So that's the reason why we're doing this. I just did the same thing for the two inner thighs and for the front. The parts that had double seams, I just opened it up so it would relax when I'm sewing it, and it will be neat to come out neat. After doing that, the next thing I did was to pin down where I'm going to sew on this jean, and just the way you see me pinning it, that's how we're going to be joining this beautiful almost high waist jean together. This is what it looks like after joining. If you look closely, you will see the seam, the double seam I was talking about. I'm just going to do the seam, run it through down, fold it the same pattern it is at the top of the jean for the front and back, and run it 2 times to make a double seam so it can just blend into what was on the jean before. And this is it after I'm done. My machine couldn't give me the exact same stitches as the one on the trouser, but I loved how it turned out. I did the same for the front and back, and this is how it's looking. It's beautiful. I love it. I decided to go ahead to iron it just to give it a neater look, and I put on my trouser. I tested my trouser, and I am loving this. It's so beautiful. Let me know what you think about this transformation in the comment section. Let me know if it's something you're going to try out. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. If you love this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share, and comment. See you in my next video. Until then, keep winning.